Are you thinking about buying or have just bought acoustic foam but you don't know where to put it in your room? Don't you worry. I'm Andrew Can, and if I can figure out where to install acoustic foam panels, then you can too. It is important to note that the audio for this part of the video is being recorded without the acoustic foam panels installed. Hopefully that was obvious, but keep watching until the end to hear a sound test of this space with and without the acoustic foam treatment. And if you want, there will be affiliate links to what I'm using and information sources for this video linked in the video description below above the YouTube chapters. With that out of the way, let's get started. Part 1 is what you'll need. The first and most obvious thing you're going to need is the acoustic foam panels. There are many different options when it comes to acoustic foam. You can get individual squares like this, or maybe even a larger piece like this to cover a larger area. I'm going to be using both for my setup, but use what works best for you. Now that I've shown the differences between the different types of acoustic foam, I'm going to have these installed for the rest of the recording. You can purchase a set of 12, 24, or 48 panels in multiple colors. The general rule of thumb is you want around 15 to 30% coverage in your room. I personally recommend a minimum of 24 acoustic pieces. I chose the charcoal gray color because I personally think they look the most professional. But I'm curious, what color acoustic foam do you have or plan to get? Let me know in those comments down below. Anyway, no matter what color acoustic foam you choose, you'll need a way to hang them on the wall. To hang the foam, you'll need 2-inch T-pins and a hammer. I'm using these to show another way to install acoustic foam, and in my current apartment, I can use small nails. If you'd like to learn how to install acoustic foam without damaging your walls, or if your walls are too thick for the T-pins, check out that card on screen now. Finally, these are recommended but not required. First being a stud finder for when you're inserting the T-pins into the wall so that you don't accidentally hit electric wiring. And T-pins can bend like so if you try to nail them into a stud. The next thing is a level to make sure your foam is even on your walls. And finally, a measuring tape to measure the walls and see if you have enough space for the foam. With the gear done, let's talk about why should you use acoustic foam. You use acoustic foam to help reduce your audio echoing in the room you're recording in. This is called acoustically treating a room, and it helps the room sound better when you're recording in it. One question I get all the time in my other video is this going to block sound from coming in and out of the room? This is called soundproofing and is not the same thing as sound treatment. Let me give you an example. Here's what I sound like with some acoustic foam in front of me. You probably can still hear what I'm saying, but it's just a bit muffled. If this was true soundproofing, no sound would be able to pass through and be heard. Again, this is going to help you treat a room to help your recording sound better by reducing echo, not blocking sound coming in or out of the room. Speaking of the room, let's continue on to part 3, which is the room you're recording in. Every room that you want to record in will be different. There is no way in this video for me to give advice for every specific kind of room out there. So, what I will be giving is general guidelines to follow and resources in the description for you to follow along yourself. If we start with my studio, I would first look at the floor situation. Since my room has carpet, it already has a level of sound absorption. If you don't have carpet, consider getting a high pile rug to help absorb some sound, or place a sound or moving blanket underneath you. These blankets can be used for a variety of things, and I'd recommend them in general. For example, you could use another sound or moving blanket over your doors like this using command hooks, but I've covered how to do this in a different video, and since I want to show what the acoustic foam can do here, I'll leave a card on screen. Now, my room in particular has high ceilings, so if your room is like mine, you might need extra foam for the ceiling. If you'd like to see a video on how to install acoustic foam on the ceiling, let me know in the comments down below. Another thing you need to think about is where do you want to place your camera and microphone? The reason for this is because behind the camera, there needs to be acoustic treatment. This is a wall-less acoustic foam solution, and it lets me remove the foam easily if I need to. However, I plan to record in this room for a while, so I want to go ahead and treat my room more permanently. But now, let's answer the question in part 4, where to hang the acoustic foam. Now that we understand the room we're recording in and where I'll be recording, let's look at my room. Since I have my camera here, I'll need acoustic foam panels behind my camera. If we continue to look to where sound would travel after I speak, it would travel behind my camera and bounce off the walls, and, in my case, the doors, and head up and down, as well as left and right of the wall. So you'll want to place acoustic foam there too. Even though I have foam that absorbs part of the sound, as we mentioned earlier, it will not soundproof the room. I'll also need acoustic foam panels behind me. Now, this part is up to you, but I personally wanted no acoustic foam panels visible in my recording area, so I'm going to be placing them just a bit higher so they're not in my shot. If you don't mind the look of acoustic foam panels in your recording area, you can put them directly behind you and it will be no big deal. The methods of how to hang acoustic foam is what you can do on your walls. I'll show you how to place them on this wall, and then we'll time-lapse me placing the entire pattern. To get started, I'm going to be placing 12 pieces of foam on this wall. I want to make it cover the area so when I speak, it won't be reflected back at the microphone. What matters most is that your wall is covered. So whether you're doing a 4x4 grid like I did with these white acoustic foam panels here, or 3 rows of 4 or 4 rows of 3, what truly matters most is that the wall has foam in place. To install the acoustic foam, place the acoustic foam against the wall, and in the center of the acoustic panel, place the T-pin and start hammering the pin in the wall. Only one T-pin is needed, and it gives enough flexibility to make sure that the panel is straight with your leveler. With the T-pin, try to match the T on top to the direction of the panels. Once your foam is level, you can add a second T-pin if you'd like. If you're hanging the larger piece of acoustic foam, it will need 6 T-pins, 1 in each corner and then 1 in the top and bottom center. If you're curious, I placed a T-pin earlier so that I could show you how large the hole is from the T-pin. My apartment personally doesn't allow holes larger than a pinky nail, and this is definitely smaller than that. Once you have the first wall covered, you then repeat the process on all the walls sound travels from. Again, this is behind the camera, behind the subject, to the left and right, and above and below. I do want to note, on my other wall here, I do have a window. Now, my apartment says I can't cover them with anything besides a curtain, so for now, I'll leave it. But if you want to cover your windows, or if you just want more help, check out the links in the description. Now that we have the foam up, let's listen to a before and after with the acoustic foam. Here I'm in my live streaming studio before I place my acoustic foam panels in my room. As you can hear, there's no audio editing applied to this clip. I'm recording into my Rode NT1 and that's going to a RodeCaster Pro. Now that you've gotten a chance to hear what it sounds like without the acoustic foam, here's a clip with the acoustic foam. Hopefully not only are you able to now hear the difference in the audio, but you can see it with the waveform below me. This is with the acoustic foam installed, and for this final one, this is where I started the video and how it sounds now, when I not only have the acoustic foam installed, but I edit my audio to sound even better. Let me know in the comments if you hear a difference. I know I definitely can while just recording this. We're not done, however. There is more we can do to make a room sound better, like adding bass traps to corners and practicing good recording techniques. If you'd like to learn more, check out that playlist on screen full of helpful videos. And finally, I'm Andrew Can, and if I can, you can too. Thanks for watching.